screen. Okay, so to continue, I work as a modeler for GE, and I rejoined the banking industry, but I became a senior manager and director and senior director. At some point, I quit banking altogether, and I became the chief risk officer for Affirm Financial. It's a private lender in subprime space. I have always enjoyed teaching. I have always enjoyed helping young talents to find their way in the data space. So I joined WeCloudData. In 2018, I became a co-founder. Now I'm doing what I love. I feel like every hour I spent, working, I'm actually creating value. What I do, what I say, is having an impact on other people and their career. So a little bit about WeCloudData. We run boot camps, including business intelligence. Sometimes we use data analytics, business intelligence. So DA/BI is actually one program. But we do pride ourselves because every student will finish the boot camp with a very impressive portfolio of the BI dashboards, all kinds of BI dashboards. So that's the reason we call the program BI, Business Intelligence. And our data science program is very, very highly rated by multiple websites. CIO, Switch Up, Career Comma, Course Compared. These are authorities ranking of the quality of the boot camps worldwide. So if you do your own research and just check it out, you will find WeCloudData constantly, rank at the top. So we run BI, DS, data science, and data engineering, and machine learning engineering. Now AI is so hot. So machine learning, deep learning, reinforced learning, and AI. And these are just different terms. It's all about predicting the future using data. And we also have DevOps. We used to run meetups. We have the biggest meetup in Toronto. We used to run meetup in our downtown office, but now everything goes online. Okay, today's topic is about job search and two most important deliverables, resume and interview script. But let's define the different data roles. And you probably have the question, which one should I pick? Which career path should I pursue? I'm using this graph. I hope that this will make it easier for you to compare. Four typical data roles, DA/BI, DS, and DE, and MLE, machine learning engineer. This will make it easier for you. I mentioned just same 11 skills, but various degree of specialization. From the central point, I put 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So this is the weight, okay? So let's start with DA or /BI. And let's just look at the skills, and the depths of specialization being 5. So you notice data visualization is almost 5, storytelling is 5, business insight is 5, reporting is 5. Okay, so it's really about serving business, and data is there to serve business. Visualization is just another way of telling a compelling story. And business insight is basically what you're trying to communicate back to the business, and reporting is probably the primary form of communication, right? So you notice that it's all about finding insight and communicating the benefits back to the business. So this has a lot to do with business. So you can imagine yourself spending maybe half of the time, working with business, the needs and requirements, and then working on the solution. If you look at data scientists, it's quite different. So if you look at the skills that score 5 points, you see statistics. So it doesn't surprise you that quite some, I could say, a significant number of our students in data science bootcamp may come probably from a stats or math background. So we also have machine learning modeling, and this is just the daily bread, the basic thing they need to practice, and experimentation, and this is just the design. If you have heard of the control and test group, we're just trying to improve the way we do things, doing A/B testing. So machine learning modeling, statistics, experimentation. They also need to learn a bit, other things, but not so much, weight or emphasis. If you look at data engineer, it's different again. You see, database is very important, and data pipelines are important. So you're basically building the infrastructure for the data professionals to work on, right? You can see that some of, once again, a significant number of our students in DE bootcamp probably come from a coding background. Could be computer science, could be CS, could be software engineering, but it doesn't have to be, CS or SE. Could be just general science, engineering, or STEM background, okay? Machine learning engineer, if you look at the 5 points, so machine learning operations, deployment. So deployment is important. It's not just developing the model, but implement it, make it happen, right?
Eric, I think we lost you again.
So you need I'm not sure what happened, some technical issue, but we're back. I hope you can hear me now. Let me check. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so these are differences between among the 4 rows. So today, once again, the topic is about resume and interview. So the resume first. All the students in WeCloudData, doesn't matter which program, when we look for a job, we're not just using our resume. We have a resume, and we put a lot of effort to build our resume. But on top of the resume, every student has a portfolio. So your resume is making a statement that you have high level of qualification, you're competent. But we also use the portfolio to support that statement. Okay, so it's not us telling people, it's also us showing, demonstrating, our capability. So resume plus portfolio are reliable indicator of job success. Okay, so now I'm going to just break this away to my general script. So I'm taking you to here. So this is Notion. I use Notion to create my own notes. So this is BI Learning Paths. BI Learning Paths. Let me just go all the way down to skills and experience. So after the bootcamp, our BI students will need to rewrite the skills and project experience. So let me just show you a few resumes. So you have a general, you have a good feeling, what your resume will look like after the bootcamp. This resume look all different, but after reviewing 5 or 6 resumes, I think you will see the pattern. Okay, so in general, I mask the name and personal identifying information, but the rest of the resume is still here. So you can see we need to put skills upfront, front and center, and then we have project experience, the client and project experience. I will explain the difference just in a moment. And then your professional work experience and education. So this guy, let's just take a quick look. If you look at the education, so here you see BBA. So this person comes from a business background. They did just one course for math and statistics. And then this is the bootcamp right here. And if you look at the professional experience, and you can probably guess, this individual worked in the banking industry. So the role is sales and marketing. And this is also, financial advisor. This is also sales and service. So if you look at the second half of the resume, you can conclude that, this person is not technical. And he comes from the business background. He worked in the banking, sales and service. Remember is that, a significant number of DS students, they come from the math or statistic background, but we still have quite many people coming from the general business background, business, finance, accounting, or economics, or humanity. But they need to work harder, on development of algorithm or modeling, but still possible. What I want to show you is the top half of the resume and the pattern I want you to see. So first of all, the skills. We always tell our students to break down the skills into 6 to 8 categories. So without looking at the detail, I want you to look at the categories and to bold it. So here you see programming, machine learning, big data, cloud technology, cloud computing, database system, data visualization. So it's pretty interesting. So this somehow mirror the radar, the spider chart, we saw a while ago. So if you close your eyes, you should remember the major categories. So programming is important. Machine learning is definitely important, right? And then nowadays we need to work with big data on cloud, big data, and oftentimes on cloud. And database system is extremely important because most companies' internal data is organized into relational database. So database is always important for all data professionals. And then he also mentioned data visualization over here. So this is something for you to know. Now, the difference between client and project experience, and our bootcamp is project-based. So after the data fundamental, the students will learn by building, will learn by doing project one after another. But these projects are portfolio projects. So after the bootcamp, all data science and data engineering students will do the real project for the real clients. So those projects are called client project. This individual doesn't put down the name of the client, but I've seen some students also put down the name of the client. Okay, so for every client or project experience, you can see that there is a general description of the project. So for instance, over here you see, let me just show you how many projects first. So this is 1 project, 2 and 3, and then 4 and 5 and 6. So altogether 6 projects. But this individual, he chose to elaborate on 3 most important projects. So this one, this one, and this one. And then he mentions 3 more, just so you see the scope of the work. So it's not just 1 or 2 projects, it's 6 projects. But because of the limitation of the space on the resume, he chose to elaborate and highlight 3 most important projects. So this is a very good strategy. So people can see the breadth and depth of the project work. So for every project, you need to write a general description of the project. So for instance, build a complex machine learning model for a mobile app startup. So you always use number, dollar, percentage, just to quantify, to show the complexity or the size of the project. So this is 300,000 downloads. It's not a lot, but significant enough to predict key information from receipt images. So this model can read image and then maybe turn it into data. Increase existing legacy models accuracy by 45%. So it's number and dollars and percentages. So you show size and maybe change and difference and improvement in relative or absolute terms. So then it's very strategic how you break down into 4 bullet points. I always tell students, you want to show people a process end to end. You start with, I don't know, maybe collecting data and transforming data and making data usable. And then you started to, extract the insight from the data, and then you start, for data science students, you will start feature engineering. So you start to find the features and maybe reduce the number of the features, and eventually you run and development and test samples and to finalize the model, and then you measure the performance of the model, stuff like that, right? So not just any 4 bullets, but you choose them strategically. I know it's very, very hard to read all these resume and samples. So that's why I'm going to just take you very quickly through, but I'm going to show you an actual project, and then you will develop a good feeling, for the bullet points we put on the resume. The remaining 4 resume, I just want you to see the format, the form, not the content. So here, so this resume follow more or less the same format. So we have skills, we have project, and the experience and application. But you notice that we also see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories. And once again, it's programming, statistics, visualization, database system, machine learning, and operation optimization. So every student is unique to some extent, because of your background, because of your past experience. And here she even put, business domain knowledge. So it really depends on how you write your skill section will reflect your personality. Otherwise, every student or every candidate look the same, and that's basically not possible, right? But I think you see the pattern. We need to categorize skills into, 6 to 8 bullet points. And then you have the title, and then you have a little bit of details, okay? And then the project also followed the 3+3. So you see 3 project elaborated and 3 more. Okay, once again, all these projects were part of the curriculum. So students will need to do, so they learn by building. So after they finish the bootcamp, and they will have a portfolio. So a little bit more for this student, because this is actually a BI resume. Oh, I forgot to mention, this resume also has a general summary at the top of the resume. If you don't have space, you don't have to do this. But if you do this, for the convenience of the reader, people can very quickly, maybe in 10 seconds, they can get a hint of who you are, right? So this is basically like, the first interview question, tell me about yourself, and you will say these things about your background, your experience, and your technical strengths, and your hard and soft skills, right? Relationship building and stuff like that. Okay, so I want to show you the second page. So the resume is still 1 page. We always want students to keep everything, within 1 page. But this student choose to do the second page. But the second page is not part of the resume. This is the portfolio sample. So, the readers, they don't need to spend too much time on this, maybe just a few seconds. But right away you see, interesting. So these projects are nothing like, toy project. It's actually quite, it's advanced, right? So you have that impression. And all the resume is trying to do, it is trying to get you an interview, right? So this will pick the interest of the hiring manager or the HR, specialist. They will, put you on the short list, and you will have the opportunity to go to the second round and meet the hiring manager. Okay, so what about this one? This format, I want to caution people, don't do column. Don't do 2 columns because it's very, very difficult to parse, and it's going to mess up your resume. So I'm strongly against this format, but I use it to show you the variety of the form, but also to allow you to see the pattern. So once again, skills usually 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 categories: programming, machine learning, statistics, visualization, big data. Once again, I think this candidate has a PhD. So it's for data science job. This is meant for data science jobs. What about experience? So you see, this is data science consultant, and this is the real client project, doing real project for real client. And then this is research and academic. So this PhD student used to work in school, in academia, but this is industry, and this is academia, okay? And then she also did some, project, 1 and 2. So this resume is very light, but still get, so all the resumes are good enough to get the students quite many interviews. And what about this? So this is the resume of a new grad. In fact, when she created this resume, she didn't even graduate from the bachelor's degree, the bachelor's program. So it also has a summary, and then you see 8 bullets, 8 categories: database system, stats and machine learning, programming, operational analytics, data management, data governance. Sometimes this becomes very important depending on what you do. And 6 Sigma lean operations, so operational analytics. So she highlight operational analytics, 6 Sigma lean operations, and superior business writing, data visualization, storytelling. Okay, so at the time she wrote this resume, she didn't finish the bootcamp. She was in the middle. This was, I think, before COVID. And with this resume, she was able to secure an offer, before COVID-19. And she got an offer, a post-dated offer, before COVID-19, and she was very lucky that way. Okay, yeah, so I'm not going to show you everything. So this is pretty nice if you look at the skills, and I call this is a man with just a few words, which is true. And this is the relevant project and education and professional experience. Okay, any questions? Let me look at the questions. Okay. Is Stack available? Yeah. Yeah. The deck it can create a PDF afterwards, but please contact us so we can email you the PDF. And then how professional with 15 plus years of real world experience fit self-guided project part of their resume. Kuma, I have worked with candidates like yourself, with 10, 15 years, ton of experience. I remember one time I heard, it's not fair, Eric, is not fair. You want me to summarize my 15 years experience into 1-page resume. I said, I have 25 years experience. I still have a 1-page resume. So it's possible. If you insist, 2-page and fine, but just knowing that the second page sometimes will not get read. So you do that at your own risk. So to answer your specific question and how to fit the self-guided project part of your resume. So it's called self-guided. It's actually part of the project during the bootcamp. So it was, it's actually instructor-led and supported by TA. Sometimes some students, they pick one or two of the project they did on their own. That's totally fine. Really depends on your target industry. If you don't think you have enough from the bootcamp, you may add 1 or 2. But usually we design a bootcamp, we design a curriculum, so you have a good coverage of all the opportunities. So if you take the bootcamp, and this is a non-issue because you will have, you probably can choose a 6 out of 8 project. So you could rate this project. Remember I said 3 plus 3. So you can rate this project into the project experience. Okay, so why do we even need project experience if you already have work experience? We have 2 kinds of students. Students who are recent grads direct from school. So they don't have any experience. They have 0 experience. So obviously they need project experience or a real-time project experience. Okay, so that's a no-brainer. So for career switchers, for people like yourself, if you I'm transitioning into well, not workspace, data space um, from a field that is not relevant or less relevant. And then you definitely need project experience or real client project experience to augment your experience. And you notice that we put project experience on top of your professional experience only because they're more relevant, okay? And it's better to have experience than no experience. But how to rewrite your past experience so people can see the continuity, or to make it even relevant to the future employer, that's quite a skill. So during the post bootcamp, career services, we pair up the student with our alumni mentor. So they will help you to rewrite the profession experience so they become relevant. So people can see the wholeness of your resume. It's meant for the data job. So I hope I answered your question. So from John Bain, did this whole talk about resume building? Yes, it's about resume building, but I'm going to use a real example so you will have some feeling with the resume I share you. What does this have to do with using OpenAI API? I will show you how to use OpenAI API to improve the resume. Okay, are the dates and employer names removed from? Yes, for privacy. What about headers and footers? Don't use headers and footers. And don't use two columns. Don't use headers and footers. Don't use tables, and don't use boxes and shapes. Just use the generic, but you can still use. You can still bold it. You can still use different font and different sizes, but don't use the fancy format. It's going to make it hard to parse. Okay, Sean, how to prepare for business knowledge if you want to take the BA bootcamp and do not take economics or business? That's a good question. So let me just take it back, and before I show you the real example. So over here, I gave our students some sample text. Let's count how many bullets. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So I think you see a fair bit of business. So over here is the business domain knowledge, business analysis, and BI development life cycle. So these are business, and I arranged the sequence of the bullet points on purpose so it's easy to read. And over here you see data. Sorry. See data. So you see database system, data governance, data analysis and reporting, data visualization and storytelling. And somehow it followed this sequence. And this database system, these are source systems. And data governance, if you are moving data from one source from the source to the target, and some data uses will occur. So data quality and data integrity, data governance is extremely important. And then you process data, and then you do analysis and reporting. And visualization storytelling is just a higher step to make the communication easier, right? So to answer your question, business, you don't have to come from the business background. So in fact, for people from the STEM background, this is your weak list. Oftentimes I see people from a STEM background, they pick up coding faster, than the business majors, but they oftentimes, forgive me for saying that, and they're order takers. So if I give you clear instruction, then you will do a really, really good work. But oftentimes you don't have a clear sense of purpose. You don't have the big picture. For instance, how to make money in the business. What are the key process and key decision points, right? And who are the customers, and what are the products and categories of products, and how to measure success, and the KPIs and the dimensions and stuff like that. And when you finish the analysis work, and the people from STEM majors, they often have a hard time, finding the words to communicate the insight back to the business. That's also your weakness. But you don't have to go to business school. You don't need the MBA to write these bullet points. A lot of times, I want you to know that business sense is actually common sense. So the bootcamp is designed to combine business and data and communication. So every project, has a context. It's a business operating, in this industry, and here are the processes, and these are the strategies, and these are the tactics, and these are the operations. So you will learn these things. For instance, you will learn customer relationship management. So particularly how to run email campaigns. You will learn customer segmentation, and particularly, the RFM model, the recency, frequency, monetary model. You will learn product recommendation, and specifically market basket analysis. You will learn digital marketing, and specifically to solve the problem of marketing attribution, and financial planning and analysis. Okay, so once again, to have a personality, I don't expect every candidate to have the same, business domain knowledge. This will vary, right? But these are quite common. So business analysis is actually very important before you perform data analysis and data visualization. So this is nothing more than, when your client or your boss asks you to do any analysis, and you don't rush to the actual work. You need to clarify questions, validate your assumptions, make sure you're working the right problem. And so this is a high quality, of a strong candidate. If you know how to do whiteboarding, how to use diagramming tools to visualize business processes, great users and interactions, and how to define KPI to measure business health and performance, basically how to define metrics to measure success of the business, right? So this development lifecycle, and some of you probably know, if you have work on project, if you come from IT, CS, or software engineering background, you would remember the software development lifecycle. So SDLC, we use the same lifecycle to develop BI project. So this includes waterfall and agile. So waterfall includes analysis, development, acceptance, production. So you could write this stuff, right? I hope you are with me. So these are soft skills, secure planning and execution, and highly effective in building client and peer relationship, and always deliver quality. Okay, I hope I answered that question. So now I'm going to break away from this. I want to show you an example. So first of all, I want to show you a video. Let me just show you the video. If you look at the dashboard, and this is a very simplified example. Let me stop sharing and share again with sound so you can hear the sound. Just give me a second. Share screen with sound. So please pay attention to the name of the dashboard is talent acquisition demand and capacity. It's really simple. You don't need prior knowledge to understand this. So I'm going to play the video.
Acquisition and retention, which means finding strategy is simple.
A bit Chinese, just.
Our company's people strategy is simple. Talent acquisition and retention, which means find good talents and keep them. First, look at the number of talents we need to hire and how many we have hired, in line with company's growth. 56 hires versus 90 target. We are not hitting target. Why? Next, look at workload versus capacity into and half years. Is 12.2 candidates per hiring manager acceptable? Is 166.7 candidates per top specialist too high? Between Q1 2021 and Q2 2023, hiring performance track lower than target, except Q for 2021 and Q for 2022. Next, look at the conversion funnel. Is the candidate pool of 500 at the top big enough? Can we improve conversion rate at every step? Next, look at the efficiency of hiring process. 4 of 9 steps are time-consuming, including case study and presentation, interview with leadership, technical skills assessment, and resume review. Total turnaround time is 32 days. 3 steps have low conversion rate, including interview with leadership. 60% looks normal. Offer 58%, which also looks normal. Background and reference check is 67%. 1/3 candidates didn't pass background and reference check, which is not normal and need further investigation. I have several recommendations. 1. To hit 90 target based on 11% conversion rate, we need to increase candidate pool. Give employee incentive to refer their friends, as this source shows high conversion rate for specialized roles in finance, marketing, and risk management functions. 2. Hire 1 more specialist, in addition to Caleb, Chadwick, and Jamal. And 3. Automate or combine some steps to streamline process and reduce turnaround time. Company's business took off in 2014, followed by 8-year growth. Number of employees grew accordingly, from 4 in 2013 to 266 in 2021. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, attrition rate started at 3.9% in 2014 and increased to 17.6% in 2017. Leadership team and human resources worked with functional areas to implement a series of retention strategies, including employee engagement, compensation, learning, and development. Good news is, as talent base continued to grow, attrition rate has dropped to 2% in 2022. Looking back, we lost more people in operations, followed by finance and marketing. The decomposition tree allows us to grow the tree from left to right and identify the top contributor to attrition rate. Started with operations function, office location, and 55+ age group. My conclusion is, company is doing great in retaining talents. Our retention strategy is effective in reducing attribution rate. My only recommendation is on location. We should allow more employees to work from home, say 2 to 3 days in a week. This change will help keep employees who live far and commute long distance to work. Of course, we need proof that we won't lose productivity by being more flexible in remote work. This concludes my presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
So, that is just one quick video about one little project, one of our students did. It's actually a test from the employer. But with this, you can actually write a small little project experience. So I'm just trying to show you what you can do, with that project. Before I just go through this, I want to show you a very, very common problem. Just going back to, so this slide, the imposter syndrome. You see, when I show people the kind of resume, you can get after the bootcamp, and they are quite impressed, So this is just another example. Let me just show you the full picture. This. And it's very similar. So you see skills, some work experience, some project experience, and education. And then this is the sample portfolio. And there's actually a web link, and you can click, and it will take you to the actual portfolio. But I want to show you this, right? So when we show people this kind of resume, and they say, oh, that is indeed really, really good. I'm not surprised, this resume, got this student 10, 15, 20 interview opportunities. And I also know this kind of experience can get me an interview. And I also want to write this bullet points on my resume, but the problem is I have never done work or project like this, right? So I don't feel comfortable. Sometimes I feel like a fraud. I fear that people will find out. I don't actually have this kind of experience. So it's very, very important that you learn. It's not about the skills. It's how you use the tools and the skills to solve actual problem for the business, to create value for the business. So if you have done project or real-time project with WeCloudData, and you will be able to write down the bullet points like this, and you will feel comfortable writing it, because instead of being scared or fearing, people will find out this is not real. You feel excited about this. You want people to ask you questions about this part of your experience, and you have already practiced over and over how to present this project. So this is something you feel excited and you're waiting for. So let me just go back to you see. These are just sample text, the project experience, CRM, email campaign. It's in telecom industry, and we use SQL Server. And this is the energy sector. The company name is Community Solar, and you use Excel, Power Query, Power BI. And this is real estate. So it's Canadian Real Estate Investment Trust. And you work with TXT file, once again in Power Query, Power BI. And this is retail and e-commerce, Megastore, SQL Server, Power BI, Tabular Editor, DAX Studio. What is this? IT, sales, operations, analytics. And this is financial planning and analysis. So this is the HR analytics I just showed you. So now let's go through the bullet points. I'm pretty sure you feel quite intimate, with the bullet points. And you can testify, these are all true, right? So your job is to support talent acquisition team. And sometimes we call them, they have a title, it's either talent acquisition, TA, talent acquisition specialist, or there's a general term called HRBP, human resource business partner, right? So you support a team of HRBPs. You design and build a self-serve BI solution to enable data-driven decisions, specifically capacity planning and efficiency measurement. Okay, so this is true. This is true. And the second bullet is you analyze the current recruitment process. Remember, process and steps. And also the data and the reporting needs to measure talent acquisition and retention, maybe efficiency. And this is also true, right? And remember the funnel. You can just type conversion funnel. So these are all true. And then collected, process, and transform data from various sources in various formats with various problems, and create a star schema data model within Power BI. This is also true. And then you define 6 dimensions, including time and location, months, location, functional area, right? And row, what kind of row, and steps of the process, and sources, where you pull the candidates, maybe job board, maybe referrals. Remember that, and you feel comfortable with all this because it's true. You remember this. And you also define 12 KPIs, so including the number of candidates, number of specialists, number of managers, and then you can develop ratios. So number of candidates per hiring manager, right? Number of candidates per talent acquisition specialist. So this is the workload. And duration, how long does it take to complete, the the coding test or case interview, and the conversion rate. What is the percentage of conversion rate moving from the current step to the next step? The number of hires versus the targets, and this is a retention, a number of quits, a number of stays, and then you calculate the attrition rate. So this become all very familiar. And once again, you don't need to go to business school to learn what this, and everybody understand, it's common sense. We all know that HR work in 4 different blocks. Number 1 is hiring. Number 2 is learning and development. Number 3 is compensation design. And number 4 is probably, retention, right? So the last one, communicate insight and present recommendation to help HRBP develop and execute strategies to improve talent acquisition and retention. This is also true. Okay, so can we improve this? Absolutely. We don't need 5 points. We may need only 3 or 4. And plus, we should plug in the numbers and dollars and percentages to quantify the impact of this work, on the business outcome, but this is an art. It's not easy, but it's not that difficult either, right? Especially after you have done the project and work, and then you will feel very comfortable writing these bullets. So I have heard many people say it is so hard to write a resume, but I want you to know that I think everybody has the experience that it's not hard at all writing a list, right? So if you look at the bullets, so these are just it's a list. This writing block is a unordered list, and this is also a list, of bullet points. It's not that hard. It's actually quite easy, and it shouldn't take you that long to gather all the bullet points. But the real problem is when you have nothing to write about, and then it becomes a real problem. And you probably can use Google or use ChatGPT, and you write something on the resume that you don't feel comfortable at all. And you cannot defend it. And you fear that people ask you questions about this part of the experience and that part of the experience. And you feel like a fraud, right? So that's the reasons, the cause of imposter syndrome. Okay. All right, so any questions so far before we move on? The second part is really about the how to use OpenAI to improve the resume and interview stories. If no questions, then I can go on to 1 second. Where is it? Oh, here. Okay. So this is the resume builder. So you can see that screen. And prompt engineering, that's something very, very basic to, how to use OpenAI to improve the answer. And because the quality of the completion depends on quality of the prompt. So the quality of the answer depends on the quality of the question. And the secret is prompt needs to include both instructions and example. It's not enough to tell. It's always better if you show and tell, right, what you want. So then OpenAI understand exactly what you need. And then the completion you get back will have much, much higher quality. So we're going to use FuseShot and Roleplaying to improve the resume. Okay. So first you need to import OS and OpenAI. So there's two libraries, and I have already saved my API key into the environment variable. So if I run this, well, let me just let me just run the kernel. Restart. Okay, just wait a second. Okay, so let's restart this. Let's run this cell, and then we can define the function. So we can define a function called get conclusion prompt. So this is the argument called prompt, and we're going to fit that argument over here. Okay, so then the messages are you have this row and content. So the row is the user and content is the prompt. All right. Now we're using GPT 3.5, and GPT 4 is a lot more. So it's GPT 3.5 Turbo. GPT 4 is a lot more powerful, but we need to pay more. So I'm just going to use GPT 3.5. And when the temperature is 0, and this is very, very specific. So we want it to be specific. And the other extreme of the spectrum, so it's from temperature is from 0 to 1. So if you specify 1, you will see a bit of variety. Okay, so then you can get the completion, from the choices. Is the first one, and then from the library you can get content. All right. So I put everything within bullets. So this is basically my skills section. So I'm going to run this. Okay, and over here, you see, that's a read the prompt. And you have seen this, right? You have seen this. This is basically this. Yeah. Coming back here. So this is my prompt. And this is my instruction to OpenAI. So your task is to improve the skill section on a data analyst resume and delimit it by trickle backdates. So that's this, right? That's basically this, bullets. That's this, okay? And then I asked OpenAI to format each bullet point into a skill category, and then followed by the most popular tools with the most advanced features. So you see, this is the category, and these are the most popular either tools or features, So the most popular tools with the most advanced features, all in one sentence. Okay, so this is the prompt. And let's run this. Your task is to improve name get complete not defined. Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, I didn't run this. Sorry. Let me run this first. And then I can run this. All right. Share the slides at the end of the webinar. I will work with Adam. So if you send an email to Adam, and we are going to send you the PDF. Okay, so if you look at this advanced Excel proficient in using advanced Excel functions such as XLOOKUP, summary, query, pivot table, slicers, and timeline. statistics, and machine learning. It doesn't improve that much. So I just, add a few linkages or the words like, such as and. I don't need that. I actually don't need that. Statistics and machine learning skilled in applying statistical techniques and machine learning algorithm, including hypothesis testing, A/B testing, clustering, classification, and regression. I actually like my old one better. So let's look at programming, SQL. So these are the most advanced features, just so I don't look like a junior. I look like a senior, right? So programming SQL, complex joins, nested queries, window functions. For Python, I put pandas, numpy, scikit-learn. Okay. What does OpenAI returns? So here, programming experience in SQL with expertise in complex joins, nested query, and window function, as well as Python libraries such as pandas, numpy, and scikit-learn. Once again, not much improvement. So let's look at maybe the business domain knowledge, CRM, remember? Let's look at business domain knowledge. Familiar with various business domains, including, I don't think, ChatGPT has improved this a lot. But let's look at the actual project. So this is the energy project, and the original text is community solar energy, our query Power BI. So build pipeline, define KPI, develop dashboards, automate processes. Okay, question from Kuma. Why can't we use ChatGPT directly with coding skills section instead of using OpenAI? You can. I'm just trying to see if I use Python and prompt engineering, can I actually improve the completion? Yeah, you can definitely just log into ChatGPT, and maybe that's already enough. Yeah. Okay, here, build pipeline, define KPI, develop dashboards, automate processing, and create layouts. I like this. I really like this. And this is about design, right? Create layouts, backgrounds, colors, themes, and interactions to make everything pop. And automated process to ingest monthly production rate file using unions and join, and define KPIs to measure success. So these are KPIs, and aggregate and visualize KPIs by dimensions, and these are dimensions. And present business growth trend and solar power production seasonality, develop product and pricing strategy to influence commercial and residential customer behavior and optimize revenue. See, these are very, very specific. So this is, the project in a nutshell, right? This is about design. This is the process, and also dimensions and measure, KPI. And this is the impact on the outcome, So let's try this. Now let's see the response. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Now, build pipeline, define KPI, and develop dashboards to track and analyze data. Is this better? Maybe not. Create visual opinion layouts, and this is probably better. And backgrounds, color themes, and interactions to enhance data visualization, to make everything pop. Maybe this is more formal. And automated the process of ingesting monthly production rate files through unions and join. And define KPIs to measure success, such as build. So this is the same. Presented business growth trends and solar power production seasonality to inform product and pricing strategy. Develop strategy to influence. Okay, so it actually breaks down this into two. So 4 bullets now become, become seven bullets. Fine. I think this is actually better than what I have. So there's one more project I want you to see. But first of all, maybe let me just play the visual first. So this is a, wait a minute. Oh, here. So this is a retail and e-commerce project. Let me play it. It's a really, really cool. This is the actual dashboard. Or dashboard library. We use Power BI to build this dashboard. So it looks like an app. After you publish into powerbi.com, it's actually an app. It becomes an app. Okay, so that's in a nutshell. So let me just go back to, I think you have some sense of, and just go to, where is it? Oh, here. So this is retail e-commerce over here. See? So this is the bullet. So this is Megastore retail e-commerce. So we use SQL Server, Power BI, and we did use a tabular editor and text studio. So these are two add-ons. It's more advanced features or add-ons on Power BI. So what we did, this is technical. We restored database to SQL Server. It includes 26 dimensions and fact tables. 26 tables, that's quite significant. And 1.34 gigabytes of data, and that's also pretty significant. So it's not a toy project. It's an industry-grade project. The biggest table contains more than 10 million records. So this is also significant. So if you work with big database like this, and performance will become an issue. So we performed 4-quadrant analysis based on Pareto principle to find 20% products and stores that contribute to 80% sales and profit. So 80% of Pareto principle. Is this business? Is this technical? I think it's a combination of business and technical, right? 20-80 rule. Yeah. So this is what we call the head. And this is the 80% product and stores probably is the long tail, but 20% product and stores are what we should focus because they contribute to 80% sales and profit. So then we're able to classify product and stores into 4-quadrant based on contribution. So this is product and store, right? In terms of contribution. So this is high, and these are the jewel of the crown, right? High. And if it's high-low and low-high, we need to improve. And it's low, then we need to stop. We need to stop carrying those products. We need to close those stores. Okay. And the last one, perform organic growth analysis. So we separate organic growth by volume impact and price impact. And therefore, we can help product and pricing team to plan and execute marketing campaign, including discount, to achieve profitable growth. So in this business, this is definitely a business, and how we use the insight to generate impact on the business outcome. So let's run this and see if OpenAI can improve it. Okay, let's read this. It says, successfully restored a data warehouse to SQL Server, which included 26 dimension fact tables totaling 1.34 gigabytes. I think it's better grammar the largest table contained over, okay, conducted a comprehensive full culture analysis based on the Pareto principle to identify the top 10%, classify product into full quadrant based on their contribution. It's more or less the same, but I think it's better grammar, better flow, perform an in-depth organic growth analysis, separating the impact of, once again, this is more or less the same. So what I learned from this, let me just restart and run all. What I learned from this is, yes, ChatGPT or OpenAI can help you improve the resume, but you have to supply the inputs. You have to provide the inputs or the ingredients for OpenAI to cook, right? And oftentimes, if you haven't done the project or if you haven't done any work that is professional quality industry grade, it's going to be difficult. And if you write nonsense on the resume, and ChatGPT or OpenAI is going to give you nonsense. So OpenAI is helpful, but I think the people who can work with OpenAI will actually beat the people who don't know how to work with OpenAI. So this is one. I'm going to show you the other one. This is more about interview story builder. Before we do this, I'm going to tell you a story. It's a quick story. Just recently, WeCloudData, a number of students got hired into the public sector. I don't know how you feel the market. The job market is not doing so well. That's in line with the general economy. Despite the fact that politicians are saying, "Oh, we are keeping inflation under control and the economy is doing great and create lots of jobs," I don't believe it, because I can see that the competition is more fierce and it's getting tougher to pass rounds and rounds of interview, and even our students may get rejected, in the last round of the interview. So this one story, once again, I told you, for some reason, I see a lot more hiring in public sector. Just recently, Ontario House, Ontario Public Service, and Government of Alberta, and I think there's a company called ICBC in Vancouver. It stands for Insurance Corporation of British Columbia. That's like, it's like a company owned by Crown. I think it's the only company that provides the auto insurance in BC. That's what I was told. So anyhow, we have a student, his name is Gavin. So Gavin just started his new job as a data management analyst. And the full title is Data Management Analyst, Linear Assessment and Data Management, whatever that is. But I can explain what the job is. It's with Municipal Affairs Branch at Government of Alberta. So about a month ago, he got this opportunity after he got rejected by multiple employers. So this was an opportunity with the public sector. I was his mentor, so I worked with him to prepare him for the job interview. And with my guidance, he's researched very thoroughly about the topic. It turned out it's property assessment, but it's for industry property. And I think most of you know that if you own a condo or maybe a house, you need to pay for property tax, okay? And it's based on the assessment of the property value, and then multiply by the tax rate. And that's basically how much you need to pay as property tax. But this is not for residential, this is for industry. So in the province of Alberta, as you can imagine, they have lots and lots of industry properties related to oil industry. So such as wells or pipelines or plants, refinery. I mean, it's both land and the structure from ground up, the attachments to the land, right? So he did a lot of research, and some of the information is available online, right? Including such details as, the formula, how to calculate the total value of the property. And it's the market value of the piece of land and plus the cost of the improvement, and then minus the depreciation of the improvement. Or the tax rate is how much revenue the municipal government want to generate, and then divided by the assessment base, the assessed value. And he found out, 3 approaches to property valuation, including, if I'm not mistaken, cost approach, replacement cost, and income approach, and comparison approach, and also 3 depreciation methods. And those of you who have studied accounting, you probably know, straight line and accelerated and something like that. So, and he remembered one thing, during the interview, and when he mentioned that he read the property assessment minister guideline, the director laughed. The director laughed, out loud, because that document, that government document was 60 pages long. And you could say, it's quite dry and boring, but Gavin, he read it from, the first page to the last page, from cover to cover, and he noted down the key points for the interview. And he only remembered, the director laughed, and he told me that, but he didn't think too much of the director's reaction until he started the job. In the first week on the new job, when the senior analyst told him, he said, the director has actually interviewed 5 candidates on that day, and you were the only one who read the ministry guideline. He said, the director has interviewed 5 candidates on that day, and you were the only one who read the boring government document. The director was actually very, very impressed and moved and touched by how much distance you walk and how much you care about this opportunity. So with this opportunity, I want to show you how important it is for the students or candidates to research about the company. And the statistics shows only 2/3 of the candidates research the company, and 1/5, that's 20% of the candidates research about the interviewer. Dig out the LinkedIn profile and study about this person and predict what kind of questions are coming. What is the best way to answer that question? And this is what you can get by working with the mentor. I myself, I love mentoring the students, but we have so many. We grow the WeCloudData alumni community, and I approach the successful alumni. I ask them, whenever you settle in a new job, and if you have extra capacity, please come back and help us mentor the new generation of students and help them find data jobs in this data space. So with the help of the mentor, you will be able to surprise the employer. So imagine if 4 candidates they don't know anything about the business, but that one candidate, you're like, wow, this candidate walked in the door and he knows more about our business than some of us do. Which one would you hire? Of course, that one candidate. And so doing this research and talking about what you have done to prepare for this interview make you stand out. So with that, let me question from Faz. How many mentees do you currently have, Eric? And at any point I probably mentor 10, 10 mentees. Because I'm doing this full time. This is my passion. This is also my business. And we work very, very hard to achieve a high placement rate. Oh, by the way, we achieved, I believe, 91.5 placement rate by the industry report, by the ministry report. The second, the runner-up is Brain Station. I think we are at is 20% higher, and so that's really good news, and it's good for the students. Okay, in order to prepare for the interview, okay, question from Stephanie. Can you scroll down the notebook and would like to check once more the code if possible? Yeah, I'm about to talk about, but this is a different notebook now. This is the interview story builder. Okay, so a little bit about advanced prompting technique, and this is also few shot and role playing. So let's run this. And then this is the same two block of code, and let's define a function. So this is the one. Why do you think you're qualified for this position? So for the student, this is his general profile. This is basically the same as, tell me about yourself and what make you think you're different, right? Why should we hire you? Why do you think you're qualified for this position? So 4 things we want to say. Number one, my background, educational background is STEM. I'm very strong at programming. And the second one, I also did the BI bootcamp training. I have done 6 industry-grade projects, including risk intelligence and skills. My skills is a rare combination of business and data communication. Number 4, I'm very good at closing gaps between business data, insight, action, and outcomes. I really, really like this one. From business to data, and from data to insight, from insight to action taken, and from action to measurable outcome. There's almost always gaps, between business data, insight, action, and outcome. My job is to close those gaps. So I want to put this into a bullet that I can use to answer this question. So this is the text, and I put the text within the prompt. So the prompt is write a story in 150 words or less to answer the question, why do you think you're qualified for this position? Based on the text delimited by triple backticks, which is this, right? So that's, I already ran this. I can run this again. I think I'm gonna get the same thing. So let's read this very quickly. I believe I'm qualified for this position because of my strong background in STEM education programming. In STEM education programming, so these are the 2 things I want to highlight. And I have also completed a BI bootcamp training where I successfully completed 6 industry-grade projects, including risk intelligence. My skill set is a rare combination of business data and communication, allowing me to effectively bridge the gap between these areas. I am adept at closing gaps between business objectives, data analysis, insight, actionable strategies, and desired outcomes. So it's slightly different from this, and I really, really like this one. with my expertise, I can contribute to the success of this position by leveraging my technical skills and business acumen to drive meaningful results. I don't know, what do you think? And is it good? I think it's good. It can always improve, but this, at least, based on just a few, a few bullets, and I can create a story. Okay, so the second question is, what do you know about our company and this position? Oh, I forgot to mention, this is a data analyst position at Rogers, I believe. Is it Rogers? Yeah, Rogers. Comments from John Bain. Would be interesting to take a resume of bullet points and then have GPT generate star-style answers. And yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You can probably, write the prompt that way and see what you get. And I mean, this is a iterative process, and you can get more and more specific, and you will get better and better answer. What will the outcome if interviewer use based on your resume content? That's a good one. Okay. Okay. So let's just take a look at, what do you know about our company and this position? So people say the first interview is like the first date. This question is why me? Or why you? This question is why you? And this question is why me, right? Imagine the employer is somebody you're dating. Okay. So why Rogers and why this analyst position? Well, Rogers, there are three largest providers in Canadian market, Rogers, Bell, and Telus. And Rogers is the market leader in 5G with 11 million subscribers. So this is from your research, and then you put some of the numbers. And I understand subscription business models, pay as you go or contract, right? You can pay as you go, or you can be locked into a contract. If you really, really want to get the iPhone, I don't know, 14 or 15, and then the device is free. If you sign a 2-year contract and the device is free, we all have that experience. I am a digital native using Rogers. I use Rogers. I'm your customer. And this is my plan, 10 gigabytes and $35 a month. You need to remember this detail. And I understand your customers because I am your customer. I understand your customer, and especially Gen Z. I'm one of Gen Z. I understand your products, including talk, text, data plan, and device bundle. I also understand campaigns and promotion. So for instance, if you go to Costco, you probably see some of the booths 2 times a year, like August, back to school campaign, or Christmas, and they have a pricing chart. It's a tiered pricing chart, and some of you have seen that. I understand. Oh, this is a pricing. Sorry, this is a pricing analyst role at Rogers, and specifically for device, I believe. And I have done deep analysis on organic growth. And remember, the retail and e-commerce project, we have done organic growth, separating the impact of volume and pricing. Separate revenue growth into volume impact and pricing impact, and develop pricing strategy to influence customer behavior and encourage them to purchase more and stay longer with Rogers. Okay, so these are the points I want to include, and this is the prompt. Write a story in 150 words or less. This is the same. And to answer the question, what do you know about Rogers Wireless and senior pricing? So this is a Rogers Wireless and senior pricing analyst role, based on the text delimited by triple backticks. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Once again, the question. Great, some of you are having this discussion. What is star? From Chinhu Shun, could we do a test like this? You feed the ChatGPT the JD. Yeah, I'm about to show you that and ask ChatGPT to generate a revised CV and then compare them. I'm actually using the JD to generate a mock interview, and it's even better. Okay, so I'll show you that in a bit. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. Rogers Wireless is one of the 3 largest providers in Canadian market, along with Bell and Thales. They are the market leader in 5G and have a blah, blah, blah. This is basically repeating this, but gives you the flow, right? And once again, ChatGPT or OpenAI just add the linkage words to make this a smooth talk, right? So, and once again, I think we all realize that you can't ask OpenAI to create something out of nothing. You have to fit it something, but it will make it better for you. Okay. This is a very interesting one. Should we mute the deadline? Okay, this is an interesting one. What do you do when everything is a priority? So your task is to answer in a consistent style in 150 words or less. Okay, so you see, I'm doing a demo. Okay, so you see that hiring manager, what do you do when everything is a priority? And I'm feeding OpenAI a story here. And then I change the question to a slightly different one. How do you handle an unreasonable request for information with an impossible deadline? Okay, so what do you do when everything is a priority? How do you handle an unreasonable request for information with an impossible deadline? So let's look at this. This is something we feed ChatGPT. So when I work at GE Money, I spend half of my time doing ad hoc, meaning one-time analysis, and the other half standard, meaning ongoing reports. Ad hoc analysis is hard because it's less predictable. I forgot to mention GE Money's organization structure is like an inverted pyramid. I was the only analyst supporting managers, senior managers, and VP. And every day they came to my desk or sent me emails with random questions, quote unquote. I have to collect, process, and analyze data to answer each question. And my to-do list just keeps growing up to my eyebrow. I must find a way to handle these random questions before they eat up all my time. Then one day it dawned on me, these random questions are not random. I'm like, wait a minute. All these reports are aggregate measures, filtered and grouped in order by dimensions. So instead of answering each question with a static report, I built one dynamic, interactive, and self-service BI dashboard. As long as it is intuitive and easy to use, they're happy to use it. It answers most of their questions and also free up my time for other tasks and projects. I mean, this is a great project and great story to show my expectation. I expect ChatGPT to generate something like this, but now a different question. How do you handle an unreasonable request for information with an impossible deadline? So when faced with an unreasonable request for information with an impossible deadline, I believe in being transparent. I really like it, and managing expectation. I would first assess the feasibility of the request and the impact it may have on other priorities. If it is truly impossible to meet the deadline, I would communicate this to the requester, explaining the reasons why and any potential consequences. I would then propose alternative solutions such as providing partial information or suggesting alternative sources that may be able to fulfill the request. It is important to maintain open lines of communication and collaborate with the requester to find a mutually agreeable solution. Additionally, I would document the situation and any decisions made for future reference and to ensure accountability. Ultimately, it is crucial to prioritize effectively and communicate clearly in order to manage unreasonable requests and maintain a productive and pleasant working environment. What do you think? Okay, the question from Kuma, OpenAI API cost, yes, yeah. So you need to choose a plan. I think it will give you some free, but very quickly you run out, and you still need to pay. But this is good, eh? I really like it. What about this? Okay, this is a tough one, because you find out you don't meet all the requirements. Let's say you meet only 60% of the qualifications, and they will have this question: you do not have this, eh? You don't know this tool, you don't have this experience, and how could you catch up? Okay, so prompt. This is how I designed the prompt. Your task is to answer in a consistent style in 150 words or less, and I really want to control the length of the story. It cannot be too long. So hiring manager and candidate, hiring manager, have you had any experience running this equipment in hospital? And the candidate says, no, but I am a very fast learner and I'm extremely smart. I can read the manual and figure out how to run it. I'll come in early and learn from the other technicians. I promise you, I will have no problem running this equipment. Wow. So I think this is a great answer, because you look very confident. So it's possible that the employer will give the opportunity to you who have less experience but more confident over somebody who have more experience but less confident, right? But now the question is, you haven't worked in financial planning and analysis or telecom industry. Oh, so this is telecom industry. Well, let's run this. How could you catch up? So let's read the answer. While I may not have direct experience with financial planning analysis or the telecom industry, I'm confident in my ability to quickly learn and adapt to new environments. I have a strong track record of being a fast learner and have successfully transitioned into new roles in the past. I'm highly motivated and dedicated to expanding my knowledge and skills in order to excel in any position I take on. This is a bit general. Let's keep reading. I understand that catching up may require extra effort on my part, and I'm willing to put in the time and effort necessary to bridge any knowledge gaps. I am proactive in seeking out resources such as industry publications, online courses, and networking opportunities to stay updated on the latest trends and best practices. With my strong work ethic, determination, and ability to quickly grasp new concepts, I'm confident that I can catch up and contribute effectively in the financial. I don't really like this one because it's too general and nothing specific. And after you finish reading this, you remember nothing. You remember nothing. Okay, so what about this one? There's a bit more. Okay, let me just skip this one. And I want to show you the last one, prepare interview based on job description. Prompt engineering, principles and tactics. So 2 principles, write clear and specific instructions, and give the model time to think. And tactics, tactic 1, use delimiters to indicate distinct parts of the input. I did that. And I put everything within the bracket. And then ask for a structured output. And I tell OpenAI the format I want. And ask the model to check whether conditions are satisfied. I didn't do this. Few-shot prompting, provide examples of successful execution before asking model to do the task. Okay, so this tactic 1, specify steps required to complete the task. Ask for output in a specified format. I did this. I instruct the model to work out its own solution before rushing to a conclusion. I didn't do this. Okay. Same, import a library, and then define the function. These are almost the same, always the same. Okay, so this is the job description. Run. Let's run it. You see, you can summarize the job description. So the prompt is summarize the job description, delimited by triple backticks. Format the summary into an order list of 10 sentences or less. Let's run this. You know what? Let me just restart and clear out. So 10 minutes to go. Okay, so let's run this. And let's summarize the job description. Oh, sorry. Restart clear output. I haven't run the first and second one, so. Okay, run this, and the job description, okay? And then let's summarize the job description. Okay, so after this, write the blurbs to showcase your needs and my qualifications. These blurbs are extremely important. So these blurbs are actually worked out, you know, between the mentor and the student. So let's go through the blurb real quick. So what do I know about your company and this job? And what do I have? And what I do to succeed in this job? So some bullets we wrote down, you know, from research and a lot of inputs and suggestions from the mentor. So after I run this, so then we want to generate a mock interview. So design a mock job interview based on 7 most common questions. So why do you think you're qualified for this role? What do you know about operations architecture in this role? Why do you want to leave your current role? What do you like and dislike your work and work environment? Any opportunity for process improvement? Strengths, accomplishments, successes, weaknesses, mistakes, and failures? Where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years? What question do you have for me? Okay. Right, 7 questions and 7 answers, and we're going to design 7 stories to answer the 7 questions. So these are the format, and create answers incorporating the blurbs, delimited by triple backticks, and format the mock interview as a transcript of question and answers. It's like this: interviewer question, candidate answer, question answer. Okay. Are you ready? It's a magic time. So question from Michael: how aggressively are employers trying to detect the use of GPT and their resume writing covering the candidates being rejected for using it? I think you and I, even you and I, can tell, you know, if something is generated by ChatGPT. Usually it's it's just paraphrasing what you put in. So a lot of times, unless you provide really good inputs, in this case, the blurbs have to be good for ChatGPT to make it better. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. So for instance, so why do you think you're part of this role? I believe I'm qualified for this role because I have a strong understanding of operations architecture and the challenges it faces. I have a deep knowledge of the vertical functions within a banking organization, including front office, middle office, and back office. I also understand the importance of horizontal process and how they impact the overall operations of a company. Additionally, I have experience in business analysis and process mapping, which are crucial skills for this role. Overall, I have the necessary domain knowledge and expertise to contribute to the success of the operations architecture team. I don't know what you think. I think there are things you can use from this story, from this answer, because it's not just generic in general. It has, the, what is it? Vertical function and horizontal process. And this will leave the impression. Okay, what do you know about operations architecture in this role? Candidate. Operations architecture is the matrix of vertical function and horizontal process within a company. It involves designing and optimizing the operations product, which includes reusable data and code, and maps and tools and the workflows. The goal of operations architecture is to transform the current state of operation to a future state that is more efficient. I like this, effective and digitally driven. And this requires a deep understanding of the business domain, as well as expertise in business analysis, process mapping, and digital transformation. The operations architecture team plays a crucial role in driving operational excellence and enabling an organization to achieve its strategic objective. So I'm going to skip why do you need your current role? Here, what do you like or dislike about your work and working environment? Any opportunities for process improvement? Okay, one thing I really enjoy about my work is the opportunity to solve complex problems and make an impact on the organization. I also appreciate the collaborative nature of my work environment, as it allows for cross-functional collaboration and knowledge sharing. However, one area that I believe could be improved is the efficiency of our process. I think this tied back to the role and what it does really, really well. And there are often bottlenecks and inefficiencies that slow down our work and hinder productivity. I believe there is an opportunity to streamline this process and improve automation or digital solution to improve efficiency and effectiveness. From 1 to 10, what do you give? Well, probably 6 or 7, I think. There's something useful, and you can take it and maybe add something of your own. Strengths, accomplishments, success. I like weakness, mistakes, and failure one. Okay, can you tell me about your weakness, mistakes, and failures? One area that I have identified as a weakness is my tendency to be overly detail-oriented. While attention to detail is important, I have sometimes found myself getting caught up in the minutia and losing sight of the bigger picture. And this is indeed a problem, right? So I'm not bluffing. It's like, I'm a perfectionist. So that sounds like a weakness, but it's actually a strength. But I think it's a cliche. Too many people use it. So this has led to delays in project timelines and a lack of focus on strategic priorities. However, so you mention it with this, but you also tell people you have, you're aware of it, and you have been working to contain this weakness. However, I have recognized this weakness and have been actively working on improving my ability to balance attention to detail with a broader strategic perspective. I have also learned from past mistakes and failures. I have used them as an opportunity for growth and development. What do you think? So Kuma said that it all boils down to your prompts. That is true. So that is the point I try to make. So that's the reason why people say ChatGPT or OpenAI is not helping everybody equally, or maybe it's a threat to the people, to the junior world who don't know how to use it. Rather, ChatGPT or OpenAI can actually do your job, right? But you realize a intermediate or junior analyst knows how to structure and provide a better quality prompt. So basically, we need to get smart, asking the high quality questions in order to get high quality answer, from the AI. So in future, I don't think AI will beat us, but the people who know how to work with AI will beat the people who don't know how to work with AI. And I think that is for sure. And I constantly use AI. I think I'm good with words, but I believe there's always room for improvement. And so I almost constantly use AI to improve my writing. Any questions we have only 1 minute left. And today we talk about, why people fear interview, or why people think I have nothing to write about on the resume. And that is pretty much because you haven't done it, right? You haven't done the work. You haven't done the industry great project. So I encourage you to check it out. And our program, and specifically BI program, come to WeCloudData and do 1 project, 2 project, or maybe go through the full bootcamp with 7 or 8 projects. I just heard WeCloudData is going to launch a job guarantee program, and the job guarantee is, I think it's guaranteed refund. We ask you to do a number of things, and if you follow the structure, and if you stay the course, if you complete all the curriculum, if you complete all the project with quality, and if you do your own share of the job search and career resume building and interview scripting, and we promise you, we will have instructors and TA and mentors to work with you, and we'll have a team to help you achieve your goal. So if you don't get hired within a certain period of time after you graduate, and we'll refund your tuition, no question asked. So this is a program I heard WeCloudData is gonna launch very soon, so probably the end of this year or maybe early next year. So I encourage everyone check out with our course advisor, and we will talk about your needs, your training needs, and your plan to make a transition to data space and build a career in the data space. Question from Sao Nguyen: how much does the bootcamp cost for data science and data analytics? So data science is a bit more expensive. So it's 15,000, including the bootcamp training, including the real-time project, including career services. And full-time, 3 months, and part-time, 6 months. So it has longer hours, and that's why it's more expensive. And data analytics / business intelligence program, I think we charge 7,000 with discount. And both data science and BI program, we always run promotions and give you early bird discount. So I'm just talking about the original cost. So it's 7,000 for data analytics / BI, including the bootcamp and career services, and no real-time project for. It's online, meaning we deliver the curriculum on Zoom. Yes, but it's live. It's live. So you will attend the lesson live, and you will be able to interact with the instructor and the TA. So usually we have at least 1, sometimes 2 TA supporting every session. And then we record all the lessons, and you will always be able to replay, like 1.5 times to speak, and review the things you don't quite get it, and then catch up if you missed the lesson. Yeah. So that's pretty much my presentation. I thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy it. once again, resume and interview will become really, really easy. So if you have already done the work, so we create the environment to simulate the work and the work environment, the relationships, and everything is in it. Okay, so you probably will receive emails from us, and if you're interested, please book our time, and we'll be in touch.